You're watching eNews Direct. Hello and welcome to it. I'm Duduzile Ramela. These are the stories we're tracking for you this evening. A desperate plea from varsity bosses as municipal workers join outsourcing protests. Eskom argues for more money, but regulator NERSA is already raising the red flag on day one of public hearings. Gareth Cliff ropes in Dalimpofu to sue Mnet for 25 million rand.
Also in your sports tonight, the Protea selectors call up Highfield Lions opener Stephen Cook for the fourth and final test against England.
Of course, you can have a say on any of our stories. Do follow us on Twitter and Facebook. That's at eNews Direct, using the hashtags Eskom, hashtag Outsourcing Must Fall, hashtag Gareth Cliff, and hashtag Pangiso. But first, we start with this. Outsourcing Must Fall is the new hashtag, and it seems to be gaining momentum off campus as well. City of Tshwane workers who are not permanently employed by the municipality have joined the call, downing tools in the capital today. They say their movement is growing. Well, Gauteng-based vice-chancellors are calling on political leaders to stabilize higher education. They've recognized students' right to protest, but are cautioning against disruptions to classes. I'm joined in studio by our reporter, Sikele Lwandinge. Very good evening to you, and thank you so much. From what we've been following throughout the day, it's clear vice-chancellors are frustrated. What are their main concerns?
They are frustrated, Dudu, and their main concerns are that the delay into the academic program, with registration ending in about 2 weeks or so. They're worried that if the student protests continue, the program might start later into the year. And again, another concern they raised was destruction to private property, to university property, with the UT vice-chancellor saying that his university has suffered the most, and this needs to stop.
And that begs the question, where to from here? What are the solutions?
One of the solutions which they kept reiterating throughout the press conference today was calling on political leaders, society, church leaders to step in and offer support to mediate and help find a way forward. And again, extra security on campuses, that's not going away. As long as there are threats to other students and threats to university properties, those guys in black are going to stay on our campuses in Gauteng.
We'll definitely keep an eye on that story. Thank you very much, Sikele Lwandinge, joining us here to tell us more about the outsourcing issues.
Locked out. Students have been left stranded as the fight to end outsourcing enters a second week. These workers have brought the university to a standstill in defiance of a court order.
The campus protests across the country have lit a flame with these municipal workers who are not employed directly by the city of Tshwane. The people who collect our rubbish, clean our streets and tidy our parks feel excluded from the benefits that many civil servants enjoy. They say they are sick and tired of the empty promises from the municipality.
There are a lot of workers who have been subcontracted, who are earning as far as 1,008 to 2,005.
There is no offs, there is no even leave. When you stay at home, they deduct 100 rand from that 2.1. What do you do with that money at the end of the day? They're playing with us.
Those behind the movement have warned that it can only grow bigger.
There's a lot more workers that are contracted to various companies calling us to say we are coming on board as well.
Officials say they can only gauge the impact of the stayaways later in the week. And the municipality says it's willing to consider in-sourced services if it makes economic sense. Meanwhile, the University of Pretoria is hoping to open its doors this week, but it appears these workers control the decision for now. Laranzo Temba, Pretoria.
Energy matters now, and Eskom wants more money, a lot more money. The power utility says the 8% increase it's getting in April won't be enough, and it needs at least another 8% on top of that. The National Energy Regulator has begun public hearings on Eskom's request.
Yoshina Kistensami pays about 800 rand on average for electricity each month. It's one of the many bills in their 4-member household. The mother of 2 says another electricity increase will affect the family's quality of life.
That would mean cutting back on a bit of the luxuries, maybe takeouts, treats for the kids, maybe having to look at our additional expenditure to see where we would have to pull that money out from.
With an 8% electricity increase already approved from April, if NERSA agrees to any additional hikes this year, the squeeze on homes and businesses will be severe. The eThekwini municipality estimates that their cost of supplying electricity to consumers could go up by a total of 15% if Eskom's request is approved. David Green's panel-beating business has been operating for almost 10 years. It's a power-intensive operation, costing roughly 6,000 rand in electricity fees every month. Eskom's proposed hike could see Green forking out an extra 1,000 rand. Money he says he can't afford.
With our costs going up and the turnover in our business not going up, the next step is short time or laying off staff. That unfortunately is what's going to happen.
NERSA's public hearings on Eskom's application are expected to be wrapped up next month. Desan Thathia, Durban.
Kenny Motsamai is still not a free man. The former APLA commander was due to be released from prison this morning on day parole. Motsamai was due to be released on conditional day parole from Boksburg prison this morning. He's reportedly refused to sign the release documents, saying he doesn't understand the legal implications of his parole. Motsamai has been behind bars since 1989 for killing a white traffic officer. He's been refused parole several times. The economic freedom fighters have entered the fray, accusing the Correctional Services Minister of applying apartheid tactics to keep him in jail. News from further afield now, and 60 passengers and crew have been forced to jump from a tourist boat that caught alight off the coast of New Zealand. A fire that started in the engine quickly engulfed the boat. Coast Guards rescued everyone safely before the boat sank. Elon Musk's latest SpaceX project has ended in disaster. The Falcon 9 rocket successfully put a satellite into space to monitor the climate. However, on its return to land on an ocean platform, one of the legs failed to lock and the spacecraft toppled over. And a Chinese bookseller has appeared on state television after disappearing last October. Gui Minhai went missing with 4 other booksellers who'd all handled publications critical of the government. Activists claim the 5 had been abducted. However, Gui says he went on the run to avoid a drunk driving conviction. Well, let's see what's trending on social media. I'm joined in studio by Gareth Edwards. Gareth, a different Gareth is trending today. Tell us more about it.
Yeah, that's right. It's all about hashtag Gareth Cliff. Radio and TV personality Gareth Cliff is the #1 trend today after it emerged that he has now decided to sue after he was fired from Idols. There he is, the #1 trend for today. Advocate Dali Mpofu will be representing Cliff in the 25 million rand lawsuit, even on our website on eNCA.com. Our artist having some fun with this particular story as well. But it's a big question on social media today. Take a look at this. We put this up earlier. Should Gareth Cliff get his job back? Some people voting already, 57% saying yes. We'd love to hear from you. You can go and vote on our Twitter account. It is at eNews Direct. We'd love to hear from you ahead of those results coming up tomorrow. Also, making big news today as well is Eskom, of course. They want more of your money. The National Energy Regulator is conducting public hearings to let you have your say on their 17% increase. And it was a big story as far as sports concerned. Cricket South Africa has confirmed that this man, it's bowler Aaron Pangiso, had been drunk and misbehaved on a flight from India after an ODI series win in that particular country. Now, of course, you can get plenty more on this. I gave you the Twitter account. It is at eNews Direct. You can also go across to our website as well. eNews Direct is now live. Where do you find it? Go to eNCA.com/direct.
Welcome back. Let's take a look at business news now. And Agriculture Minister Senzeni Zokwana says the country will have to urgently import between 5 and 6 million tons of maize. Now, the ongoing drought is also affecting the share prices of some of South Africa's major food producers. Last week, Tiger Brand's share price fell to its lowest level since June. Shares in Pioneer Foods, the second largest food producer in the country, dropped to levels last seen in December 2014. chicken producer RCL Foods also saw a decline in its share price, dipping to its weakest since November 2012. Now, analysts also expect the drought to drive food inflation up. Oil prices have hit their lowest levels since 2003. That's as the market braced for a jump in exports following the lifting of sanctions against Iran over the weekend. Worries over that country's return drove the Brent crude price down to about $27 a barrel. But analysts and traders have described the plunge as a knee-jerk reaction. They say Iran's plans to export an additional 500,000 barrels per day were not realistic. Right, let's see how the markets performed today. Right, let's check in with the Weather Center now. Here's Candice.
Good evening and welcome to the weather, where we can expect light onshore winds along the west coast on Tuesday, and that brings in the possibility of fog mainly in the morning. We're also expecting an onshore wind along the eastern Cape Coast, bringing in the possibility of drizzle. We'll see an increase in thunderstorm activity over parts of the Free State and Gauteng, with the second band starting to form from the northwest. Here's a look at your weather forecast across South Africa on Tuesday, with highs in the upper 20s and low 30s along the KZN coastline, where we can expect a dry day. Thundershowers are expected as we head towards the northwestern parts. You'll see thundershowers over the northern part of the Eastern Cape with highs in the low 30s. We're expecting drizzle along the coast as well as the adjacent lying interior, but temperatures still remain quite warm. Thundershowers also extend through to the interior part of the Western Cape, with a sizzling hot day for Cape Town and Langebaan, both at 35 degrees. We keep in the mid-30s as we head towards Worcester and Robertson. George and Plettenberg Bay expecting a dry and partly cloudy day, both in the mid-20s. Morning fog starts off the day along the west coast, with thundershowers expected throughout the Northern Cape and highs in the mid-30s for Uppington, Prieska and Springbok. We'll see a maximum of around 30 over the southern part of the Free State, with isolated thundershowers in the forecast. A slight possibility of thundershowers for the northwest with highs in the low 30s, and you'll also see thundershowers through to the southwestern part of Limpopo with a hot and humid day as we head towards the Lowveld. 34 for Skukuza, scattered thunderstorms over the western part of Mpumalanga and highs in the middle and upper 20s. A 60% chance of thunderstorms is expected for Gauteng, an increase from Monday. 28 degrees for Johannesburg and Soweto, and Pretoria at 30. On Wednesday, you'll see an increase in cloud and thunderstorms, particularly over the northern part of South Africa. Drizzle is expected for Durban at 29, with a dry day along the rest of the coastline. Things remain sizzling hot for Cape Town all the way through to Thursday, with thunderstorms continuing over the interior, and we're forecasting drizzle along the coast between George and Durban. That's all from the Weather Centre. Have a great night.
Right, here's what's coming up after the break. A former Idols judge, Gareth Cliff, isn't giving up his job without a fight.
He's recruited advocate Limpopo to his legal team.
Yeah, there's the four.
Defamation and what?
It'll make great TV. Taroro.
2 mistakes.
Yeah.
Now,
Yes,
other
sir.
than that, it's... Oh, the tight thing.
Yes, sir. To my right. Again. Is that fine?
To my left, to my right. Closer. You want me closer?
All right.
Yes.
Yes, sir. Okay.
No, I was saying.
You can't see me.
I just know he's recruited.
Yeah, I do the first 2 lines.
Yeah. Three.
Cool.
I was saying we spotted 2 technical glitches.
That's it?
No, 1 here and then 1 in promo 1, and then we had a bit of an issue here. So it's like 3 basically.
Is it?
Mara.
Right, let's see what's happening in the world of entertainment now. And Gareth Cliff is not leaving Idols SA without a fight. The popular personality wants his seat back, even if it means going to court.
Indeed, and he's recruited advocate Dalim Mpofu to his legal team as he sues eMnet for defamation and unfair dismissal. Cliff was, of course, axed following his comments on the whole Penny Sparrow debacle.
It all started with this tweet from @Gareth Cliff saying people don't understand free speech at all. The popular radio personality was weighing in on the Penny Sparrow debacle. The post sparked a Twitter frenzy, ultimately costing him his job on SA Idols. Cliff is now fighting back, suing eMnet for 25 million rand, 5 million for defamation and the rest for breach of contract.
It's going to be large because he derives a lot of revenue from media. If an impression is left that he's a racist, people that are associated with him may distance themselves, I'm talking about commercial brands, may distance themselves from him.
Cliff also wants to be reinstated as one of the Idols judges. After a decade on the show's panel, he was eyeing at least 5 more seasons. His legal team is confident, insisting that the matter was grossly unfair. Despite much effort, eMnet could not be reached for comment. With only just 2 weeks to go before the show kickstarts its national search, it'll be interesting to see if Cliff gets his own golden ticket or the judge votes him out. Nontobeko Sibisi, Johannesburg.
A reminder of the day's top stories before we say goodbye. A desperate plea from varsity bosses. This as municipal workers join outsourcing protests, Eskom argues for more money. However, regulator NERSA is already raising the red flag on day 1 of public hearings. Gareth Cliff ropes in Dalim Mpofu to sue eMnet for 25 million rand. And that's a wrap from the eNews Direct team.
It is indeed. Never to worry though, your favorite drama, Rhythm City, is up next.
But remember, you can share your views with us. Do send us an email to enewsdirect@etv.co.za.
You can, of course, just chat to us on Twitter and Facebook. Our handle is @eNewsDirect.
Indeed. We do hope you've enjoyed the show. Have a fantastic evening. Bye-bye.